Hi, this is Mr. Wartsky, and today we're going to talk about we're going to talk about memory. That's it. How we move things from the short-term memory to your long-term memory. So I know there are times when you wanted to remember something, someone's name, a phone number, the question, answers to yesterday's test, but you forgot. So how can I help you remember? Well, keep on watching. It all starts with the brain. Now, we know the parts and portions of the brain that are associated with memory. The limbic system is responsible for emotions and memory, and in the limbic system is the amygdala. Now, this is a topic for a conversation at another time. The hippocampus, on the other hand, is what we want to focus our attention on. Now, let's remember this one. The hippocampus right here is in purple, right where this arrow is. See how it comes up and around? That is the structure associated with memory. We're talking about, oh yeah, we're talking about memory. So as you're sitting around, your senses are constantly taking in information from the world around you. You are constantly being bombarded with all sorts of stuff. Now, because of this, we can pay attention to only one cognitively demanding task at a time. This is what we call focus. Now, when we have something that we want to remember, we first have to put this into our short-term memory. Now, in order to move the material from the sensory memory, that's when you're sitting around and being bombarded, to the short-term memory, we need to make that piece of information meaningful. We have to encode the information. Now, if the information isn't encoded, it will stay in our short-term memory for about 20 to 30 seconds, and then it's gone, lost forever. And we need to move that piece of information into immediate memory, which is a type of short-term memory. So how do you do that? Well, if you want to remember a name or a phone number, you constantly repeat it, like 8675-309, 8675-309, 8675-309. And that sounds like a great phone number for a song. The second type of short-term memory is working memory, and this is a perfect name for it because you have to work on the information to make it working and memory. The more you work on it, the more likely you are to transfer that information from the working memory, which is short-term memory, to the long-term memory, which is the holy grail of memory. Now, if you study by reading over your notes just a few times before the exam, that's not enough. That is not enough. And I will repeat that. That is not enough to move it to your long-term memory. So how can you help prepare the transfer from short-term to long-term memory? Well, here are a couple things right off the bat. First, clear your deck. Decrease the stimuli. Remember, you can only focus on one thing at a time. 2, exercise. Believe it or not, all organs can benefit from exercise, and the brain is no different. Research shows that fit mice form more neural connections than sedentary ones. And finally, sleep, because your brain organizes and evaluates your memories when you sleep. Ironically, to see what she's holding right there, memory. So what are some of the strategies for the transfer to long-term memory? Because you've already prepared yourself. You've decreased your stimuli, you're exercising, you're getting enough sleep. So here we go. First of all, spaced practice. And this is the opposite of cramming. Space your studies over a long period of time. Study a little bit every day and set up a daily schedule that includes studying. This will help organize your long-term memory. Break tasks down. This complements your spaced practice because you study smaller pieces of information, and that will help you focus because you're not rushing to learn everything at the same time. overlearning, which sounds like the name implies. You just keep on learning the material over and over and over again. And believe it or not, this will relieve your test anxiety. The overlearned is so embedded in your brain that you will overcome your anxiety. Repetition. You need to increase your reps. Just like everything we've been talking about, space studying, breaking things down, overlearn, you will need to write, think, and recite the material over and over again. Rehearsal. Practicing the material by reading and outlining, predicting test questions. If you create charts, concept maps, your own tests, those are great. Those are ways to rehearse. Finally, acronyms. Oh, not finally. Acronyms, words that are made up of the first letter of each word, like sponge, which makes up 99% of all living matter. It's sulfur, phosphorus, oxygen, nitrogen, carbon, and hydrogen. IPMAT were the different stages of the cell cycle, which is interphase, prophase, metaphase, anaphase, and telophase. SOHCAHTOA, which is a math term. This I think is the last slide. And acrostics. Now this is when you make up a sentence with the first letter of the word that you were trying to remember. So in biology, the order of classification can be remembered by the sentence, King Philip comes over for great salad. That stands for kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, and species. And the first word, or the first letter of kingdom, K, is for king. Phylum, P, Philip. And associations. You form associations between pieces of information. For example, there's two types of data. There's qualitative and quantitative data. Quantitative data deals with numbers. Now, how do I know that? Because there's an N in quantitative, and the N stands for numbers. And believe it or not, that is the only way that I remember that quantitative data deals with numbers. Now, we've gone over a lot of stuff. I hope you remember it. If not, please watch the video over. This is Mr. Wartsky, and I hope this helped you.